take good notes. And you go, come on, doesn't everybody take notes when you're learning a new skill or what have you? You'd be surprised, most people don't. And it takes a little prompting from the instructor. It's often overlooked by the students, and unfortunately it's often overlooked by the flight instructors. When I'm studying, I take detailed notes of everything that I think is important for the next flight, and I bring those in with me because all too often as I'm studying, I'm preparing for the next lesson, the next flight, I'm starting to come up with questions in my head that are good, relevant questions that otherwise are going to get missed. So just like any good flight starts off with good pre-flight preparation, in your flight training, your pre-flight preparation starts at home in your studying. Once you get into that, in the flight, your flight typically breaks up into 3 phases. You have your before flight ground, which I think is a bad name for it. I refer to it as a pre-flight briefing. If you didn't study beforehand, then it's ground school. But if you studied and you're prepared, then we're going to brief on what we're going to do. And we're going to go through those notes and we're going to figure out what you might be lacking. And we're going to put that into motion so that we can develop our flight, plan our actions and our flow of how the flight's going to go. Then we're going to go out and we're going to fly our plan. And in that flight, we're going to go through all those items that we talked about on the ground, and we're going to get you in the area that you can build skills and build understanding. Then we're going to come home and we're going to land and we're going to get out and we're going to do a post-flight brief, or a debrief. And in this area, we can take the knowledge you studied and then actually seeing it in action. And with the right questions, we can solve what might be lacking in your head. And one of the ways to do that is to take notes of every one of those maneuvers. After we did it before we took off, now we're going to go and we're going to break down each one of those maneuvers we did and explain to the instructor what you did. In that point in time, it gets revealed like, hey, you didn't understand this piece, but we can fill that in. And now when you go home and you're thinking about this and you're reviewing those notes, you're more prepared for the next time that you go out and do that maneuver or that task. And then along with that, once you get into the debriefing phase, you also want to ask questions of, so what's our plan for the next flight? What's plan A? What's plan B? And if there may be a possibility for plan C, let's have that out there too, because you want to show up to that next flight as prepared as possible, ready to go, because doggone it, I hate to admit it, but this stuff is expensive. And even more so, your time in the airplane is extremely valuable, your time with the flight instructor. So when you get to your check ride and you're getting for check ride prep, if you took good notes along the way, along the process, you have something that you understand where you were coming from, that you can go back and study and prepare you for doing those maneuvers in the check ride. So it's a win-win all the way around, and it doesn't cost any extra than what you're already doing. If any of this is helpful to you, please put a like down there and hit the subscribe button. We would really appreciate that. We're growing our little YouTube channel. We want to see you be successful, and we'd love to see if this is helpful to you. So again, like, subscribe, and actually comment too, so that maybe we can make better content for you.